Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on how to integrate a VTL solution with BRMS for IBM. My name is Axe Signer, Vice President of Electronic Storage Corporation. We've been in business since 1991, located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We are an IBM registered business partner and a Microsoft certified partner. We're basically a software developer located in Tulsa. So currently in our Tulsa office, we have our own programming staff, as well as our own customer service and technical support staff for our products. So benefits of integrating virtual tape with BRMS is your seamless integration where you've got a virtual tape system such as our LaserVault Vital product working with BRMS to automate and manage your virtual backups efficiently. So you're going to have enhanced backup efficiency, which combines virtual tapes, fast and scalable backup processes with BRMS, which have currently automation and policy enforcement for your backups. So this will help reduce reliance on physical media if you're currently using physical tape for your IBM I backups. So you're going to be able to leverage this technology to eliminate the need for physical tape and really streamlining your IT operations. So let's go right into a live demo going over how to integrate a VTL solution with BRMS. So we're going to start with the BRMS menu. When we talk about setting up BRMS for a virtual tape solution, a lot of it is really just copying your existing media policies, media classes, and control groups in order to direct your backups to a VTL solution. So if we look at our system here, our Power 10, we have TAP MLB V1, which is our virtual tape library, and TAP V1 as our tape device for that tape library. So this would represent a fiber channel connection from the IBM I to the VTL solution or SAS connection. Now we'll note that your fiber channel connection can be a direct connect or via switch, and speeds up to 64 gig fiber channel speeds. So now that we have our virtual tape library defined on the I-Series through either the SAS or the fiber channel connection, we're going to go through configuring BRMS to use that particular tape library for your backups. So we're going to do Go BRMS. We're going to go to Policy Administration. We're going to work with Media Policies. So currently you have a set of media policies for your different retentions, your dailies, weeklies, monthlies, etc. So simply what you can do here is either you can go into these and actually copy these to create new media policies for the new media that's going to go into BRMS for your that is used on your VTL solution. So that's a pretty simple process. There's option 3 to actually copy that and then use those new media policies that are the same as the previous ones you used with either your physical media or existing VTL solution to retain your media on the VTL solution just like you do today. So that would be one of the things that you'd want to do is simply create those media policies for the new media. Then you can also simply go into your media class. So we'll work with media class. So the media class that I've got defined for my VTL for my daily backups is simply called daily. We are using Ultrium 8 as the LTO version, which is supported in our VTL solution, as well as LTO 5, 2, and 3 are also supported. Do want to note that any of the LTO versions that you use within our VTL solution, there is no storage limit on any of those. So if your full backup is 10 terabytes, that could actually be backed up and reside onto one virtual tape because there is no storage limit on any of these LTO options. So you can create or use an existing Ultrium media class, copy an existing media class for the new media that you're going to be using, and create that and add because we're going to be adding in the media from the VTL solution once we create it into the BRMS inventory assigned to that particular media class. So the next thing that you would do is we're going to take a look at our control groups. So option 2, control groups. So we have a control group here called daily. So simply what you can do is, using your existing control groups, simply copy those into new control groups to point to the VTL solution. So if we take a look at the attributes of this, we simply have this set to TAP MLB V1, which is our virtual tape library. We have minimum and maximum resources. And one thing to note here is that you can define more than one tape device, more than one resource, multiple resources. If you're using this control group to, say, do a parallel save using multiple virtual tape devices, which, number one, can help increase speed of your backups using multiple tape devices. And our solution does support NPIV, which I'll talk about a little bit later when we look at the configuration settings for the VTL itself. So simply copying your control groups to create new control groups for this new tape library. Now, once we've done that, we can go ahead and create our media within the tape library and add that into BRMS. Now, with our solution, we have this web interface that you can log into with a secured username and password. And this interface goes right into the VTL configuration, where the first thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and add in my new virtual tapes that I want to put into BRMS for my daily, weekly, monthly rotations to run my control groups. And then what we're going to do once we do this is we're going to go into some of these settings here to kind of show you some of the features and capabilities within this VTL solution using this web interface. So as you can see, I do not have any daily, weekly, monthly, or any volumes created just yet. So what I want to do is I want to go to a path, and this one's called local, which actually points to this path on the VTL solution on the VTL server. So there's a disk volume here that I'm saving to, and then I'm creating my media on. Now, this could instead point to a network path, which we'll talk about a little bit later, where if you're looking to save to a SAN or NAS or other deduplication backup appliance. So creating media is super easy. Just click this create button. I'm going to put in D for daily for my prefix. So that's typically 1, 2, or 3 characters. For your volume serial number, of course, you get 6 characters for a virtual tape, just as you do with a physical tape. Now, you can create media with a capacity limit. We have customers that create tapes with a capacity limit because they're saving journals throughout the day. They eventually want that tape to fill up and then it be rotated automatically to another tape. Otherwise, 0 means that you have unlimited space on that virtual tape when you perform your save. So if your backup happens to cross over multiple tapes because of the storage limit of physical tape, that wouldn't be the case here, where you could actually just use one tape if you wanted to for your backups, your full backups or whatever. So we'll create multiple tape images. I'm just going to go ahead and create 10 of those. So my quantity is 10, no, not 19, 10. So I'm going to go ahead and initialize those tapes. Click create media. So now you see we have those daily volumes listed here as inventory within the virtual tape library on this particular path. So the next thing I'm going to do is we'll go back to the IBM I. We'll go here and do a 9 to work with media. So you can see the volumes are currently inserted status and ready to be added into BRMS. Now, anytime you add media, this inventory list for the VTL will automatically be updated. So we're going to go BRMS. We're going to go to Media Management. We're going to work with Media Libraries. We're going to do an 11 for TAP MLB V1 to add that media. So we're going to add volume of inserted media class daily and enter. So now if we go back into BRMS, work with media, we can see that all the media has just been added into the tape library, media class daily. So now I'm ready to go ahead and run any of those control groups that will perform my daily backup to the VTL using one of these virtual tapes that have been added into BRMS. So everything I've added into the VTL is now ready to go for a backup. So we're going to do perform a control group, which we have set up. Control group daily. I'm not going to submit that to batch. Press enter here. So it's going to go ahead and process. These are pretty small libraries that we're backing up, so it's going to go pretty quick. Backup speeds can, vary around 850 megasecond and higher, depending on number of tape devices, other factors in terms of backup speed, quite a bit faster than physical tape. So our control group daily has completed. We'll go back here to the interface to do a refresh, and you'll see that that BRMS used this volume to perform the backup to this tape. We go back into BRMS, and as you see, once we look at media, we have here all set, ready to go, all completed. So we're also showing some features here in which we've actually migrated this backup to Microsoft Azure Cloud account. As you see this path column here for this particular tape, it's actually located on a second path that's been defined for this VTL. Now that second path can be SAN, NAS, deduplication appliance, such as IBM's Data Protect, Rubric, Cohesity, others that are out there available. But as you can see, since I'm looking at all inventory, I'm also seeing the local backups that are on local disk, which could actually be a landing zone to land your backups, which is the way this process worked for this backup. And then I have an automated migration function to migrate that backup over to the second path, which in this case is Azure. So this gives you the ability to see all your inventory of tapes, no matter where they're located in terms of cloud storage, DR site, SAN or NAS location. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in where you want to have tapes available. If I actually perform a restore of an object or library from this virtual tape, it will be restored from Azure, so it would be a bit slower than restoring from local disk. But it is available to perform a restore of an object or a library. And doing that process through BRMS is exactly the way you do it today, in which you go in and select what you're looking to restore. BRMS knows which volume or volumes those files are located, and simply you select what you want to restore, and the tape gets loaded into the drive, and the restore performs as normal. So being that we're emulating a tape library, the load and unload, automated load and unload of a virtual tape is the same as it would be with a physical tape library. Some of the other features that I've added to this particular tape library is compression. As you can see, the tag here on properties is C for compressed. That averages around 4:1 compression. I've also encrypted this backup, which is the E tag on the properties for this tape, which has a key for the encryption. to perform unencryption whenever I do a restore that uses that key, and that would be AES 256 encryption. Now the T8 means that I actually used and set the VTL to back up this virtual tape to 8 files at the same time. So as we're writing to the 8 files, we're utilizing more processor cores, more memory, therefore more speed. So it's a multi-thread process of writing the backup to multiple files at one time during the save to get that increase in that speed, because it's a multi-thread write process of the backup. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead back into BRMS and show you that I'm going to go ahead and expire this tape. So we can see that once we expire that tape, and then we run BRMS maintenance. So that we expire that media. So now it's expired. Now I'm going to do a refresh on the inventory. So you can see there is the same volume that has now been initialized because it expired with BRMS maintenance. Initialized that. It also brought the virtual tape from the second path, which in my case is Azure, and initialized it, and now it is stored back locally on local disk. So that is a checkbox or a parameter setting that I have within this VTL configuration to bring the tape back into local storage and initialize it when BRMS runs. Now I will note that the migration capability that occurred when we performed the backup is actually an exit program within the BRMS control group to automatically perform the migration of that virtual tape over to the second path. Now, multiple paths is just an option. It's not a requirement, because the VTL solution also has a replication feature to replicate your backups to a DR site, cloud storage. Therefore, you have multiple copies of your backups. If you're replicating, or if you're writing to or migrating to from local storage, you're landing your backups on local storage and you migrating them to a SAN or NAS. And if that solution performs deduplication, data immutability, as well as replication, such as our technology partners, IBM, Rubrik, Cohesity, Exagrid, just to name a few, then you would use those capabilities of replication within their solution for your second copies of your backups for disaster recovery. I'm going to go to some of the settings within this interface to show you that we've got these parameters. And what we do is, when you either install this VTL software, which is, we're the developers of this product, we assist you. You can set up your own server. A VM is possible if you have a PCIe slot to install a fiber channel HBA for the IBM I connectivity, just like a fiber channel to a physical tape or any other VTL solution. Now, I would note too that because we are emulating tape, you're able to perform, full system restricted state saves, as well as demode IPL from a full system save using the VTL solution LaserVault Vital with that fiber channel or SAS connectivity. So we have set our Ultrium settings. This number of storage slots for your tapes can go up over 16,000 storage slots for adding virtual tapes and keeping those available in inventory for your rotations. You can increase that number anytime you want to add more tapes. Replication and retention. So replication capabilities utilizing saving locally on-prem from either your production system or your DR system, being able to replicate those backups, having multiple copies I've got options here for Amazon S3, Azure, Wasabi, really any object storage cloud provider. You'd be able to replicate those backups to, as well as a second path replication to go to a second VTL server that is at a DR or co-location, and keeping multiple copies of your backup, something that you really don't have the privilege of doing with physical tape or the security. And there's also retention capabilities, which in the case of BRMS, your media policies handle all of that. When the tape expires, you run maintenance, everything gets initialized back, that any tapes that have expired so they can be reused. So replication capabilities, we've got our paths here. So we'll edit path. So path, the main local path here is just a local disk on a VTL server that we have set up in our data center. Here's where we're doing the multi-file write process, where we've got this set to 8 files. Say the sweet spot from anywhere from 8 to 16 files for maximum speed. We have compression defined, encryption with our encryption key, so that during the backup write process, the backups are being compressed as well as encrypted. For the migration or replication process, or both, these settings would apply to those other options as well. Our solution does come with data deduplication as an add-on licensing feature of our product, to where that can increase your compression of your backups 10 to 1 or higher, depending on the type of data, production data compared to test or development data, can double or more your compression using a deduplication, as well as reduce the amount of data you're replicating or migrating to a second path. Especially with replication, you're reducing the amount of data that you're having to copy to your second location. Then we've added a second path, which in this case is Azure. This could be Rubrik. This could be IBM's Data Protect storage. So we could land backups here, migrate backups to here, and still see both tapes in both locations. This number of paths is unlimited in terms of how many paths you can add for migrating your tapes and storing your tapes at different locations. Here we have our entry for the VTL and the tape device with control path yes. We do support NPIV via fiber channel through a switch, which is up to 64 virtual tape devices per fiber channel connection. 64 virtual tape devices per fiber channel connection, and those are simply added here, which then are presented to the IBMI as additional devices in which you can use to run your backups across multiple LPARs, parallel saves, things like that. For this interface, you can define security. So as an admin, the two things I'm not allowed to do is manually migrate media, change the write protect on media, because you can set write protect on your media as well as unprotect media when you initializing or using them for a backup. So I'm able to view this library. So if I was belonging to another group, this was not checked. This particular library one, I would not be able to see the inventory or use that library within this interface. There's also a screen here for checking jobs that are currently running. This is an audit list of your migration jobs that have completed or currently running. Also showing a list of replication jobs if you're using LaserVault to perform replication of your backups. Okay. So do want to announce, and I've mentioned this before, that we are now working with a new technology partner, IBM, with protecting IBMI with IBM Defender Data Protect. So using this storage, as the LaserVault VTL being a gateway. So that here we have the VTL solution. We have from BRMS fiber channel connectivity from the IBM to the VTL, high-speed network connection from the VTL to the IBM Defender Data Protect cluster. This could be what's called our gateway solution, in which we can actually point the backup path directly to this storage, giving you all the capabilities of that particular storage solution, backup solution, with replication to DR site, with another VTL connected to there, and being able to see the virtual tapes that have been replicated for any restores or saves that needed to be performed at the second site. So very happy to announce working with Defender Data Protect from IBM for storage needs of your IBM power backups. Okay, so there are some in the Go to Meeting panel. There's a sizing questionnaire, benefits guide, customer testimonials, and data sheet for our Vital solution with IBM. Feel free to download any of those documents. The sizing questionnaire can kind of get us started with what your configuration might look like for a VTL solution in terms of storage, fiber channel or SAS connectivity, number of those connections, number of tape devices, virtual tape devices that you'd like to be using to perform your backups across, say, multiple partitions, backups in parallel, and then as well as licensing of the software. We can provide the full turnkey solution with server, storage, gateway solution to connect to storage, fiber channel, SAT. Everything can be put together as a turnkey solution, or you can provide the hardware for the configuration, in which we provide you the specs, and then we can provide the software licensing, which is actually just a perpetual license fee for the product to be installed. And then we also provide remote installation or on-site installation and training to get you started, help you with any BRMS configurations as well, because we know that solution for doing your backups, and help you get things set up and up and running very quickly. Okay, so here's our contact information. Thanks everyone for joining. There is a question and answer option in the go to webinar panel there, where you can go and ask questions if you'd like to go ahead and do that, because I've got some time to answer questions. You can also email us, info@laservault.com, reach us on our 800 number. We'll have a drawing for a 1 terabyte SanDisk SSD after this presentation. So that winner will be notified via email. So you get a whole terabyte of disk if you win that. Also, after the no, on the VTL S3, in terms of per file, 2 terabytes or less, that would apply if you're doing no, we do not have that. So yeah, no, there's no S3 sizing limitations in LaserVault. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. So yeah, anything that you would have a limitation with BRMS, I'd assume you'd have that with any VTL solution in terms of file sizes. Okay. Excuse me. Any other questions? Feel free to type them in. But we'd love to visit with you. Oh, thanks, Dell. Appreciate it. Love to visit with you, go over some configuration options, some pricing. And also at the end of this webinar, there'll be a quick option for a quick survey, just a few questions. If you've got the time to go ahead and go through this to help us get a better understanding if we're doing a good job, what should we do better, what you got out of it. to help us make sure that we give you good presentations, and because we value your time. All right. Well, thanks everybody for attending. We'll go ahead and end here, and have a great day, and thanks very much.